Good morning, 7th grade. Welcome to week 7, day 2, May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo to all students. I actually was not going to post a video today because I'm feeling a little under the weather, but I wanted to just provide you something. I'm going to try my best to get through the lesson so that you have a good idea as far as what to expect. But just bear with me, and if you have any questions, I will be on tomorrow and happy to help you with any questions, concerns, problems that you might have. Just reach out to me, using all of the options that we have available, or just send me a private message on today's assignment, okay? So we'll click on our classwork tab. For yesterday, a few of you I know did not look through the lesson. So I'm not really sure if you're just trying to get the work done as quick as possible, but the 5th question on the exit ticket was the question that the lesson started with, and I broke it down in multiple ways as far as what the correct answer was and how to get to the correct answer. So the fact that some of you still got that question wrong on the exit ticket showed me that even if you did look through the lesson, maybe you just skimmed it a little too quickly. So I really would take the time, look through the lessons that I am posting, read my feedback to you, because I'm doing it to help you, not to hurt you, okay? And these videos I think are helpful as well because I'm literally modeling for you exactly what to expect on your exit ticket that day. Okay, that's what the lesson is based around. So we're still spiral reviewing number sense. We're going to take what we did yesterday by finding those missing values and just apply them to word problems. So you still have the online fraction to decimal calculator available here. I think some of you were using it. I think others of you were not, and that might be where you were struggling. So please remember that this helps you where if you have an equation and you have fractions and decimals, you can just plug them in here, put the operation that you want, put the other value, and click equals, and it does the work for you. Okay, you just select which one comes first. Is it a fraction plus a decimal plus a fraction, etc. You can also have just the fraction calculator by clicking there, and you can add multiple fractions here. Okay, so this website I think is really helpful to make sure that you're getting those correct answers, but I don't know if all of you necessarily used it. So that's why I'm stressing to you again to click on that website and use it as you are answering today's questions. Okay, so here's your lesson. I'll pull it up. I'm actually going to use my Smartboard one so that's a little bigger for you. So the warm-up is the same type of question that you guys had yesterday. We have 2.7 equals question mark plus 9.4. What value would make the equation true? So the first thing you want to do in these types of questions is replace question mark with a variable because we are in pre-algebra. So maybe we would pick the variable z, okay? Once z is there, then we solve our equations by removing the constant by doing the inverse operation, which would have been subtraction since 9.4 was plus 9.4 or positive 9.4. So we subtract 9.4 from both sides, and then this is a simple calculation you could do on a calculator, whether it's your phone calculator, a regular calculator. Decimals can go into all types. So if you punch this in, you would have seen the answer was negative 6.7, and you would find that value of z. If you wanted to do a quick check, you just take negative 6.7 and put it where the question mark was, and make sure that negative 6.7 plus 9.4 equals 2.7, which it does, so we know that that solution is correct. Okay? So today, in order to be successful with our lesson, we have to remember different math indicator, different operation indicators. And those are the vocabulary words that indicate different operations. So we have words that mean addition, for example, all together, sum. We have words that indicate subtraction, such as difference, take away. And then we have ones for multiplication, such as product, twice, and division as well, such as half, quotient, words like that. So if you continue, the chart gets filled in, and I give you a reminder to keep these operation indicators in mind as we explore our word problems. Okay, so if I were you, I would kind of like keep this chart off to the side, and then if other words come up that indicate operations, maybe you want to add them to the list as well. Okay, so we're going to play a game today where it's called Who Am I? You're going to be given a word problem, and you have to figure out who the number is that the problem is looking for. So the first one says, if you take away 11 from me, you get 10. What number am I? So the first thing I ask is, what operation indicators do you see in the problem? So looking at the problem, there should be some words that stand out to you that indicate different operations. So the first one I see is take away, right? And we know that take away means to subtract. Okay, then we see the word from. From means you have to switch the order. So you're taking 11 away from this unknown value you don't know. You don't know who me is, right? So because you're taking it away from the number, then 11 would move to the back, which we call switching. Okay, and then we have get. If you're getting 10, then that means equal. So once you find those operation indicators, we can write our equation. So we know that it says if you take away 11 from me. We don't know what me is. So let's use a question mark for now. So question mark. If I take 11 away from that, so that's minus 11, we know that get means equals, so I get 10. What number am I? So here's my equation set up, and then we're going to use the same steps we did yesterday. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is replace the question mark with a variable. So we'll use x minus 11 equals 10. Okay, and then we want to isolate x. In order to isolate x, we do the inverse of whatever the constant is doing. So since this is minus 11, we're going to add 11. Okay, and then these 11s will cancel out because they're additive inverses. They are opposite each other. We'll be left with x equals, and 10 plus 11 gives us 21. So once I get my value for x, we want to make sure we do a quick check and just plug in that value to our equation and make sure it actually comes out true. So that would be, instead of question mark, I'm going to do, well, I'll write it again for you so you can see. So that was our original equation, right? If I now take what we figured out that number is, 21, put it in there, minus 11, does that equal 10? And 21 minus 11 does equal 10. So there's my quick check. I know I'm correct. Okay, and everything I just did for you is also in your lesson, so you can see that modeled for you here as well. So the only thing that's different from yesterday is we have to now figure out what this equation is. Everything else, these steps, you guys did already yesterday, so you should be fine. So here are your co-constructed steps to find the missing value in a word problem. And again, the only thing that's different is our step 1, which is looking for those operation indicators, and step 2, writing the equation. Yesterday we were given the equation, so we did not have to create our own. All right? Okay, so I'm going to do another one with you. So we have who am I? When you put me and 5, 6 together, you get 1 and 1/4. So we want to look for those operation indicators again. And I see the word together. Together usually means addition. So when I put me, which I don't know, that's going to be my variable, and 5, 6 together. So when I add these two, I get again will indicate equals. I get or equals 1 and 1/4. Okay, so there's our keywords. And now we can write our equation. So when I put me, that's going to be my variable, or my question mark. So let's see, when I put me, so I'll put question mark. We said that together means plus. So me and 5, 6 together, I get, which equals, right, 1 and 1/4. Okay, so there's our equation. We're in pre-algebra, so we're going to replace the question mark with a variable. I'm going to use n this time, so n plus 5, 6 equals 1 and 1/4. I look at my equation. I'm trying to get n by itself, so I look at the constant. I have a positive 5, 6, so the opposite would be minus 5, 6. And then over here, 5, 6 minus 5, 6, they're additive inverses. They will cancel out. I'll be left with n equals, now I don't want to do this calculation in my head, right? I know this as a decimal, 1.25, but I don't know 5/6, and I don't really feel like wasting my time. So I'm going to go to the calculator link. That's right here. I'm going to select, right now I have it on fraction and decimal. I don't want that. I want fraction and fraction. So I'm going to go to online fraction calculator. I'm going to click it. And now I have the option to put a fraction, an operation, and another fraction. So let's see what I have here. I need my first one to be 1 1/4. So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to click 1, put 1 as my numerator, 4 as my denominator. So there's my 1 1/4. I am subtracting, so I'm going to change the operation to minus, and I am subtracting 5/6. So I don't have a whole number, so I just leave it blank. I put 5 as my numerator and 6 as my denominator, and I press equals. Okay, and then you'll see it's going to give you all the work that they did to get to that final answer of 5/12. They also say that it's equivalent to 0.416 repeating, but 5/12 would be a perfectly fine answer because we don't usually like to use those repeating decimals when we don't need to. Okay, so my answer to this problem would be 5/12. And then all I would want to do is a quick check, right? So I'm going to rewrite my equation, question mark plus 5/6 equals 1 1/4. And if I put 5/12 in where the question mark is, I want to make sure, do I get 1 1/4? Okay, so again, I'm going to go back to that calculator, and I'm going to put in, I'm going to X out the ones I had there, and I'm going to put in my problem to make sure I get 1 1/4. So we have 5/12 plus 5/6. Let's see. So 5/6, change this to plus 5, oops, I was in the denominator, don't want that, 5/12, okay? And I'm looking for 1 1/4, let's see what happens. Ah, there it is, okay? So this is all the work that the calculator does for you, but here it is, 1 1/4. So we can say, check, we know we're correct, okay? So I'll go back to the lesson. Again, all that work for you is here. I even showed you how it works in the calculator, and then you have another one to try it as well. So this one I'm just going to go through briefly because it is similar to something you'll see on your exit ticket or your evidence later on this week. The evidence is very simple. It's just 4 questions based on what we're reviewing, just to make sure that you understand it better at this point. So for this one, it says the temperature was 6 degrees and it dropped to -16. So it was this and it's now this, and it obviously dropped because my temperature was positive and now it's negative, right? So that's obviously a decrease. By how much did the temperature decrease? So it was this and now it's this. I want to figure out what was that value that it decreased by. How much did it go down? Okay, so those are my operation indicators, and I highlight them for you here. We have our original temperature, our new temperature. We know that it went down. We're trying to figure out how much, okay? So that would be our equation that we would set up. This was our original. It dropped by some amount. We don't know how much. It decreased by some amount, and we are now here, okay? If I replace my question mark with a variable, I used y this time, we now would have 6 minus y equals -16. And then we would solve this the same way we've been doing before. So I'm going to put it on my paper so you guys could see me doing it too. Okay, so I'm going to split my equal sign. I'm going to move my constant, which is 6 this time. I'm going to subtract it because it's a positive 6. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. 6 minus 6 will cancel out. I bring down, here's that common mistake again. Look, y is not positive, y is negative. So I bring down -y equals -16 minus 6. I use my calculator. That's going to give us -24. Okay, now because this y is still negative, I have to remember there's a 1 in front of it. And to get that -1 away, I divide by -1 on both sides. So here, now my 1's will cancel. I'll get y by itself. And a -24 divided by a -1 Negative divided by a negative gives you a positive 24. So there's the answer. I think it is. I believe the temperature decreased by 24 degrees, but I'm going to do a quick check and make sure I'm right. So this was the original equation we started with. Started at 6, went down by some amount, and I'm now negative 16. I'm going to take 24 and put it in where my question mark is. Okay, and I'm going to check. When I do 6 minus 24, do I get negative 16? And I do. So the answer to this question would be the temp decreased by 24 degrees. Okay? And our answer is a positive 24. Even though we're saying it decreased by a 24, because we say decrease, it takes care of that drop, right? That indicates that minus to our temperature. So everything that I just showed you is right here as well. And then I believe you have the quick check and one more question to try on your own, okay? You're then gonna go to the Google form to complete. The questions are similar to what you might have seen in today's lesson, so use the lesson as a guide. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll show you where that form is so you can see. So it's right here. And you're going to complete after reviewing the lesson and exploring that fraction decimal calculator link I showed you before. Okay? All right, guys, I hope you're staying safe. Take care.